Are you a bit frightened that one of the lessons to come out of this for other industries is that the best way to deal with the government is to begin a very expensive television advertising campaign so you can get what you want?
Well, I'm certainly not gun shy, I can tell you that. This is my first major fight with industry in terms of being a minister, but in a variety of other jobs I've had in the past, including in the union movement, embracing enterprise bargaining wasn't easy. I did a lot of tough meetings during that period, and having to stand up for Australia embracing the global community and cutting tariffs. Well, they were tough campaigns, including some of our own brethren attacking the Labor Party and Labor governments at the time, and I certainly didn't lose my nerve, and nor did Prime Ministers Rudd and Gillard during this period, nor did the Treasurer. We always knew there was a lot of firepower out there, a lot of money to throw at government, but we stuck to our guns. Yes, we've, I suppose, changed the nature of the outcome, but we have got a profits-based tax system that will produce long-term benefits for Australia, that also give us a capacity to strengthen the rest of the Australian economy with a special focus on the needs of small business.
Well, Prime Minister Rudd didn't lose his nerve, he lost his job.
Well, I've said clearly that was a big pressure point. But to be fair to Kevin Rudd, he knew, and he said all along there was going to be compromise, generous transitional arrangements. That was delivered in a breakthrough agreement by Julia Gillard of last Friday. But all the way along, we knew that there were going to be some changes. It's a question of how you put those changes together, how you put together a transition committee to be led by Don Argus and myself. The framework was there, and we've now nailed it down. And I think most of the industry has breathed a sigh of relief. They didn't want to have a political struggle with the government. They want to get on with doing business. We want to get on with strengthening the Australian economy.
Martin, do you think that the objections that are being raised by the smaller mineral groups have validity, and to what extent are you going to make changes to help them?
In terms of the smaller end of town also, I firstly remind you, we've got a threshold below which you pay no MWRT, that's 50 million. It's not insubstantial. Obviously they've raised exploration incentives. Well, there was an announcement that they were totally consumed with knocking over the whole tax and lost sight of some of their own priorities. I will consider with Don Argus and others whether or not we should have an exploration incentive in place in Australia, and I'll allow that process to make that recommendation to government. But I remind the industry that in terms of a lot of their activities in terms of exploration, they are not covered by the MWRT. The normal deduction will continue to apply, and there's still plenty of exploration actually going along in brownfield and greenfield opportunities in Australia at the moment. I suppose in many ways their willingness to actually take risk will be based on market considerations, supply and demand. And I must say, looking at commodity prices, I would have thought it's worth taking the risk at the moment in terms of exploration activity.